Welcome back. I recently had the pleasure of traveling to Los Angeles to moderate a panel featuring actress, producer, and Open Hearts Foundation founder Jane Seymour, as well as her longtime friend and fellow actor Joe Lando and licensed clinical psychologist Dr. Lori Baldino. In this segment, Dr. Baldino focuses on healing after the Los Angeles wildfires and offers valuable insights on grief of any type and guides us through a powerful exercise to help us tune into how our bodies respond to emotion.
Welcome to At the Forefront, where we explore the groundbreaking innovations and developments shaping the future of aging. We're hitting the road to showcase how older adults are embracing change, staying active, and thriving in their golden years. Here's your host, CEO of Forefront Living, Tim Mallett.
We have Dr. Lori Baldino with us today, and I'll read a little bit of your background. I'll ask you to talk a little bit more about that, but you're national clinical spokesperson for the Andrea Rizzo Foundation. Dr. Baldino led the introduction of the first dance movement therapy programs in leading pediatric hospitals in Los Angeles and providing bedside therapy for medically fragile children battling cancer and other challenges. And you'll, I'm sure, talk to us about just the profound impact that has had. So welcome, Dr. Baldino. And what do you have more in your background that you can tell us?
Yes, as you mentioned, I am a licensed clinical psychologist and a board-certified dance movement therapist. And I work with children 0 to 18 and their parents, their educators, their other providers, using a mind-body approach. And so the idea is that we experience life in our bodies and then we express through movement, right? I just wanted to invite us all to place our tongue on the top of our mouths and let our mouths kind of close gently. And let's take a breath together. See if we can take a breath into our noses. And as you do, I want you to see if you can place your feet onto the ground. Really ground your feet all the way into the floor. Imagine as you're breathing, your breath is going into that ground. It's so important to ground our bodies, to feel the weightedness. So even taking your hands and seeing if you can press your hands down into your legs to even get those feet even more into that base, into that ground. We're surrounded by these beautiful pictures of nature, really getting us into the ground. And then when we're in our bodies and we start to breathe, you all can continue to breathe. Just allow yourself to start a beat. Our heartbeat is something that we always have. It's always with us from the beginning of time. And as you are hearing these stories, you know that your heartbeat speeds up and then also catches. So we're going to make a beat, and we're going to start by just allowing your feet and your hands to tap from one side to the other. And as you're breathing, see if you can give yourself a chance to slow it down. And notice how you want it to speed up. So give yourself permission to speed up. As fast as you want to go, as much as you want to go. And then as you can, pressing your body, pressing your hands. And then I'm going to give you permission to do something, Jane, that you mentioned, is as you are making that beat, start to allow yourself to draw maybe out your name, draw out something you want to send to each of you, and start to look around your room. See if you can maybe take your hand and start to move your hands. See what you want to create in this space. Notice after hearing that story as if you could create. And you might start to notice that you look to the person over to your side, over to one another. Start to notice any laughter. Start to notice any bit of your breath that comes in. It's just natural. It's easy. It's breath. So just for the sake of time, we'll place our hands on our heart and on your sacrum. And just take a moment. You can hear my voice, but you can also start to notice some sounds around you. Just listening. And then see if you can pay attention to the sound of your breath. You might even have to take a breath in. And so I'll keep talking, but you can keep your hands here as long as you need to. You can close your eyes and just kind of check in, scan your body, see if you need to twist or shift or stand up, roll your head or your shoulders. But just notice that this is, dance is so often seen as this art form, right? We share and dance, we move, our community comes together. But also dance in my work is an acronym. Dance is about integration, and integration is health. And so we have these differentiated parts. We all moved with these singular movements. We have these flutters of our eyes, our heartbeat, our blood flow, all these individual movements. And then the A is for we attach them together. If you think about it, we have rituals and patterns and preferences. And rituals are really important during times of crisis. Rituals allow us to have some stability, right? The same way you were cooking each morning, right? Getting out there, being with your animals, taking walks, right? These are all ways we move. And then as a therapist or as a loved one, you start to narrate, which is the N in dance. We bring words to what we're doing. We say, I see you're sitting there nodding your head, right? I see tears coming down your eyes. Yeah, I see your legs moving up and down. And that brings the experience to see the consciousness. And as we have consciousness, we become really aware that we are living human beings that are supposed to feel, which is great. It doesn't always feel the best, but it's still, we're supposed to. It gives us some information that we're alive. And then the E in dance is for empathic engagement. So we have this engagement that instantly happens. Instantly, we're all connected, right? That laughter came out, right? I'm so curious what that was about. I want to know more about it, right? It brings us together even during heightened stress. So I say all that, and I'll pause to hear more questions, but just that is the work of dance movement therapy, is giving an opportunity, a space to express when, like it was mentioned before, when we don't always have words, but also that we are always communicating. Again, just even in this, I see it as like our dance. You two talking was a dance, right? You were with them, right? They were sparring. There's a little back and forth, and we have these interactions. So this is what it's about, giving that space to children and individuals.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
Kind of fun, right?
Well, I'll have to share with you, I laughed
Yeah.
because I completely understood the extension cord thing. That just made the most sense to me as
Were
you
you
describe
like
it.
making it? You were like
Yeah.
building it?
Yeah, and so I get that.
Yeah.
But movement, tell us more about movement and the importance of movement. I found I went rigid when everybody else was kind of, loosening up, but felt good once I got past that part.
Yeah.
Why is that so important?
Yeah, well, even in that, right? Even in knowing your preferences and what happens to your body, recognizing what was that about when I stiffened up? What does that mean for me? And what's so beautiful about this work is that it's not one way fits all. It's not saying every time we do this, it means this. But every time you do this for you, it does tell you information. So we get to know our patterns and our baseline. I call it our true temperature check. I often see this as an opportunity to say, when we're moving, we get to see what is our body like when we come into a new environment, when we came here today. Are your body open and you're receptive and your hands are out? Do you tend to be someone that turns your shoulders downwards? What is that like for you? And not as a judgment. And then we have our mind temperature, kind of how we perceive things, what our thoughts are. Where do we go during a crisis? What kind of response do we have? Right? There's something beautiful in your story about your son and how he responded versus how you responded, right? Mm-hmm. And together it makes that partnership. And then as we're moving, we also have our energy, kind of this energetic, like are we vibrant? Are we depleted? So once we have that baseline in movement, we can use this in sessions. So children get to, for me, I work with children, but it could be for any adult as well. But we get to express not only the stories of what happens, but where is that in your body? Where is it held? How can we shift it? How do we make sure someone else is reading our communication and what we need? How do we understand that our body is truly wise and gives us a lot of information that we can use for healing?
Dr. Baldino, we've talked a lot about individual trauma. We've talked about being at the bedside and being with individuals, but I can't help think about Joe's description, the FEMA story, and about, looking really out at a sea of people that had zombie-like faces. And we're in a situation here where we've experienced collective trauma, where you have a group that is experiencing the same thing. How does that differ? What can we do? And this foundation wants to go out and help. Mm-hmm. So this foundation is called to go out and help. So what can we do as a community for each other when we have a collective situation like this or a collective experience?
Yeah, during the fires, I love acronyms. I think they're like an easy way to remember. And I was using this acronym FIRE, and really thinking about how that F is like that friends and family. Really knowing that this collective experience we're having makes us be able to rely on each other and connect, like in your story here. And knowing that you're not alone is a big piece of healing, a really big piece. And then we want to look at the instilling in the here and now. What's so wonderful about these healing arts is it really, as Jane, you were talking about too, like really gets you into the here and now. It keeps you present in your body. So in the here and now, you're not in that depressed, think about a movement, depressed, it's in your body, depressed state of like what happened. And you're not in the future of what will be, like what if this happens, right? You're wondering, what if this happens to Jane's house? What if this happens? In the here and now, when you're in your body, when you're using the arts, you're actually safe. In the here and now, we're on this stage, we're talking. In the here and now, you were at her house, you were cooking. Nothing else was happening in that moment. And that reassures our body and our nervous system that we're safe. So then we can use that top part of our brain to actually plan and communicate and get support and learn and grow and all the positive things.
And how does that help us along the way? I thought, again, I got the packing the car and facing it the right way when you were at Jane's house. On that healing journey, how does that help us? I mean, there's a physicality part even to packing the car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was thinking as you were talking about that resilience is not a characteristic that we're born with. We don't just like, some people are resilient, some people aren't. It actually takes those moments of crisis, not that we wish them upon anyone, to show our resilience, to build that ability. And so again, we are faced with lots of adversity every day, all around the world. And it's those moments that allow us to see, how do I rise from these moments? What do I do? And giving yourself permission to take your time, dip in. Sometimes we help more and sometimes we have to take care of ourselves and pull back. And so then what that does is it builds that resilience over time so that we're able to handle all the situations that come and even pass them down to our children and within our community so we can prepare for next times. But ultimately to really see that we are quite capable and that we're supposed to have feelings. So when you're asking like, what does that do for us? I think it just builds who we are as a person. It builds our tolerance, our connections, our relationships.
Thank you for watching and listening to At the Forefront. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our social pages. We look forward to seeing you next time.